U.S. Marine Corps ordering a 2-day stand down for all of its fighter jets to discuss aviation safety matters. This after that F-35 fighter jet went missing for more than a day before debris was found yesterday in a field in Williamsburg County, South Carolina. That pilot had ejected safely on Sunday, but that reason, the full story kind of remains unclear. He is in stable condition. We can tell you that this morning. But let's bring in retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Richard Newton, NewsNation senior national security contributor. General, you're going to have to explain this one to us. And I know you're Lieutenant General, but did you tell me you had the same reaction as the rest of us watching? That being, how in the world does an $80 million fighter jet just go missing out of thin air?
Well, good morning, Marky. It's a very unique situation. The accident actually occurred at 2 o'clock on Sunday over North Charleston, which is a very populated area. And so apparently what had happened, and by the way, the details are very slim right now, and they should be because the Marines have appropriately put together a safety investigation board. I've been on a safety investigation board. I'm safety trained and so forth. And so what you want to do is you want to find out as precisely as you possibly can, as soon as you can, exactly what happened to prevent further accidents from occurring. And so that's why you're seeing very little information right now. But when the Marine pilot, when he or she ejected, and thankfully, by the way, he or she is safe and sound. That's good news. The aircraft was put on autopilot, which to me is standard procedures, or potentially in most cases. And so, and that would prevent the aircraft, once the pilot ejected from the aircraft, that it wouldn't necessarily go into that populated area in and around Charleston. So I think that's good. And then the aircraft's on autopilot and flying north about 75 miles to the north of Charleston, as you indicated, up in Williamsburg County, which is an extremely remote area. I thought maybe the aircraft would have crashed in. There's a couple of lakes north of that North Charleston area as well. I thought it might have gone down there, but it sounds like it's in perhaps very dense, maybe even swampy ground up 2 hours to the north. So the fact that the airplane was flying at, say, a couple hundred knots or so, and then it's going to fly for the next hour, hour and a half, it would go about 75 miles. And so that's the situation we find ourselves in. The Marines are really taking a hard look at this and trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, and a miracle that the pilot's okay, a miracle it landed in this field, that nobody was hurt, that we know of so far. But this is one of the most technologically advanced military planes in the world. It is a beast with high-tech weapons configurations. Once it I think the question still, though, is how did it just disappear? I mean, once it crashes, does it just go offline when it comes to government air traffic control radars? How did that work? Or did people know where it was? It just took a while for the public to find out.
Well, I was a stealth bomber pilot back in the early 90s, so it was, say, a third or fourth generation. This F-35B that the Marines are flying, and the Air Force has these aircraft as well as the Navy. It's the most advanced fighter aircraft in the world. And so the fact that likely again, some of the capabilities on the airplane to track the airplane, the transponder and so forth could be turned off. And that could be a normal procedure as well. So you've got the most advanced stealth fighter, which is difficult to find in any type of situation, but you turn off, the normal FAA-like transponder codes and so forth. Of course, the airplane's not going to show very well up on radar. And so it really kept on flying as advertised. But thankfully, it's out of populated areas, pilot safe and sound. But the other aspect of this, let me my final point here is that the Marines have had some losses over the last 6 weeks. They lost a CV-22 aircraft in Australia. 3 people were killed. They lost an F-18 a couple weeks or so ago over San Diego. And now this aircraft accident, thankfully the pilot's better. But the Marines are going to do a stand down, Marky, and they're really going to peel back the onion on this one, if I may, to understand exactly what's going on in this particular situation, but to also look across all marine aviation to see what's going on in terms of safety and policies and standards and so forth.
Yeah, you answered my next question, and that was, what do you think authorities will now be assessing in the next couple days? So we'll leave it there. General Richard Newton, thanks so much, as always. A really bizarre story that we all followed for the last couple days.
Good morning, Marky. And like I said, bottom line here, the Marines are going to find out exactly what happened here. So then that will be relayed to the public at some point.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.